Willkommen zur JCON 2017. Das ist das erste Interview im JCON Studio. Das machen wir in Englisch, denn bei mir ist unser Keynote Speaker Tim Graves von Oracle. Tim, good morning.
Good morning.
Tim, you held the keynote and the session was about the container native paradigm shift. Unfortunately, I was not able to listen to all of your session to the whole keynote because I had to do organization things in the background. So for a guy like me, explain it in a few sentences what was about.
Well, it's a continuation of the deployment mechanisms. Historically we've had monolithic software, we then broke that up into microservices and serverless. But the question is how you then deploy those in the cloud environment. Now, some people would, for example, create a new Java virtual machine every time you want to do that. That takes a bit of time to get set up. So what we're doing is we're looking at the best way to use container technology. So that involves things like how we can package a container, but also how we can operationally deploy it. It means we can push it onto anybody's cloud that's running Docker capabilities. In fact, actually the deployment mechanism we're using architecturally is capable of running on different container engines as well as different orchestration engines. So you can run it on Kubernetes, but you could run it on another environment. So the container native approach is about full use of container flexibility and technology.
And which cloud do we use, of course?
Of course, we'd like you to use our cloud, but if you want to use somebody else's, that's fine.
Technically, it would be possible.
Absolutely. Technically, it is possible. As you may have seen in the demo, that was running in a virtual machine, but I could deploy that to a Kubernetes cluster running anywhere. It doesn't even have to be in the cloud. It can be in your own environment if you want. In fact, you don't even need to deploy it to a Kubernetes cluster. In the demo, the virtual machine I was using, we were actually using Docker running within that local virtual machine. So that flexibility gives you the capability of meeting your needs rather than us enforcing a given architectural solution or approach to you and a given implementation approach.
And what do you think in which certain setting I could have an advantage of this kind of architecture?
Well, it's about flexibility, right? So you've got the choice to deploy where you want, but also things like the function project. You can find more about that at fnproject.io, but that project is about delivering these very small little pieces of code called functions. Now, that is what's commonly called serverless. Okay, and it lets you have code that runs where you need it, when you need it. So, for example, we're sitting here in this glorious cinema. At this time of day, they're probably not booking many cinema tickets, but maybe 4 or 5 p.m. when people are getting ready to go out in the evening, they're going to be having a lot of tickets. So, by using serverless technology, you can bring that capability up as you need it. You can grow it, you can expand it, you can shrink it when you no longer need it. The functions help you deliver that by separating that out into very small reusable components that you can then distribute within your environment. So I don't know, but maybe this company also would have a set of cinemas in, say, America or China. You could deploy those functions as stateless entities wherever you happen to need them. And that would mean that you could do things like follow the sun and geographic location, so you put the processing near where your needs are.
Thank you, Tim. You mentioned the beautiful cinema. To a completely different thing, your impression about JCON and the location of JCON 2017?
Well, I have to say, first and foremost, great location, Düsseldorf. Really nice, convenient. One of the few places I've been to where I can get from the airport to my destination in only a few minutes. Unfortunately, it's been raining, so I haven't had a chance to look around the town itself, but it looks like it's going to be a great environment. I'm going to have a quick look around later on.
We will remember you on this statement next year for JCON 2018. Thank you, Tim. Have a nice day. Enjoy JCON and goodbye.
Thank you, Sebastian.